Welcome back anime fans. The leaf has fallen. The world thinks the Seventh Hokage is a memory, a traitor lost to the tides of Ida's omnipotence. But in the shadows of the world, a new sun is beginning to rise. Naruto Uzumaki is no longer the man he once was. The Baryon Mode destroyed his limits, and his sacrifice birthed a divine fox. But to take back his home, Naruto must do what no Jinchuriki has ever dared, he must merge his soul entirely with Kurama's divine essence. This isn't just a transformation, it is a forbidden evolution. Today, the fox is unleashed. This is Part 11. Part 11, Kurama Unleashed, Reaching the Perfect Jinchuriki Form. Act 1, The Sanctuary of the Ancients. Deep within a hidden dimension accessible only through the Uzumaki Temple's deepest seals, Naruto, Sasuke, and Kashinkoji had found a sanctuary. It was a place where time flowed differently, a realm of pure natural energy. Naruto sat cross-legged atop a floating pillar of stone. His body was covered in complex black seal markings that pulsed with a faint gold light. Beside him, Sasuke watched with his crimson Rinnegan, monitoring the erratic flow of Naruto's chakra. His heart rate is tripled, Sasuke muttered, his brow furrowed. The divine Kurama isn't just giving him chakra, he's rewriting Naruto's DNA. If his body rejects the change, he'll turn into a statue of salt. The Uzumaki blood is the only thing keeping him alive, Kashinkoji added, his eyes fixed on the ancient scrolls. He has to reach the perfect Jinchuriki state, a level where the beast and the human are no longer two separate entities, but a single divine being. Act 2, The Mental Convergence. Inside Naruto's mindscape, the transformation was even more violent. The serene garden had turned into a sea of golden flames. Naruto stood in the center, facing the white and gold Kurama, who now stood nearly 20 feet tall, his 9 tails spreading like solar flares. Naruto, Kurama's voice vibrated through Naruto's very bones. Our old bond was based on friendship and shared chakra. But to face the Otsutsuki god, that is not enough. You must allow my divine essence to consume your ego. We must become one soul. I'm not afraid, Kurama, Naruto said, walking toward the massive beast. We've been together since my first breath. If this is what it takes to bring everyone back from that fake reality, then do it. Naruto placed his hand against Kurama's snout. Suddenly, the barriers between them dissolved. Naruto felt every memory Kurama had since the beginning of time, the creation by Hage Oromo, the centuries of hatred, and the ultimate peace they found together. He felt the solar heat of Kurama's new form burning away his human limitations. Act 3, The Forbidden Evolution. In the physical world, Naruto's body began to levitate. A blinding white light erupted from his chest, illuminating the entire dimension. The black seals on his skin began to glow gold and then shattered like glass. Q-o-o-o. A roar erupted from Naruto's throat, but it sounded like two voices screaming in perfect harmony. His hair turned a brilliant, metallic white gold. 2 elegant, fox-like ears made of pure energy formed on his head, and 9 massive, flowing tails of celestial fire erupted from his lower back. But the most shocking change was his eyes. They were no longer blue or gold. They were pure white with a golden ring around the iris, the eyes of the sun. He did it, Sasuke whispered, shielding his eyes from the radiance. The Forbidden Evolution. The Perfect Jinchuriki Form. Act 4, Testing the Divine Power. Naruto landed softly on the ground, but the impact caused the stone pillar to turn into dust. He looked at his hands, which were now glowing with a faint, crystalline aura. He didn't feel the heavy power of the old 9 tails, he felt as light as a photon. I can see everything, Naruto whispered. His voice had a melodic, multi-layered quality. I can see the atoms vibrating in the air. I can feel the life force of every creature on the planet. Show me, Kashinkoji challenged, summoning a dozen high-level Earth-style golems to test Naruto's new reflexes. Naruto didn't even move his arms. He simply blinked. A wave of solar pressure erupted from his eyes, vaporizing the golems instantly. There was no fire, no explosion, just a clean erasure of matter. This isn't just chakra, Sasuke realized, stepping forward. You're manipulating the fundamental laws of nature. You've reached a state that even the Otsutsuki might fear. Act 5, The Shadow of the Shinju. While Naruto mastered his new form, the world outside was dying. In the ruins of Konoha, the divine tree was pulsing with a dark red light. Code stood at its base, feeding it the chakra he had harvested from the tailed beasts. The tree was producing fruits of knowledge, And from these fruits, more Shinja clones were emerging. These clones were smarter, faster, and possessed the abilities of the people they had absorbed. One clone, looking like a distorted version of Hinata Hyuga, stood before Code. "I can feel him," she whispered in a hollow voice. "The sun is rising. The traitor is coming back." Code grit his teeth. "Let him come. I have the Ten-Tails final evolution ready. If Naruto wants to be a god, I'll show him what happens when a god meets a world eater." Act 6, The Vow of the Sun. Naruto stood at the edge of the secret dimension, looking out into the rift that led back to Earth. He could feel the pain of his village, the confusion of his daughter, and the cold obsession of Kawaki. "I'm ready," Naruto said, his white gold tail swaying gently. "Kurama and I, we are one now. We don't just carry the will of fire, we are the fire." Inside him, Kurama chuckled. "Let's go, partner. It's time to show them that a ninja soul is something an Otsutsuki can never rewrite." Boruto stepped up beside his father, his own solar white karma glowing in resonance. "I'm with you, Dad. Let's take back our story." Act 7, The Journey to the Past. "Wait," Sasuke said, stopping them. "Before we attack the tree, we need more information. Code is using the Ten-Tails original form. There is only one person who truly understands the origin of the tailed beasts and the way to kill a blooming divine tree." Naruto turned to Sasuke. "Who?" Sasuke looked into the distance, his crimson Rinnegan glowing. "The woman who started it all. The one we sealed away. We need to find Kaguya Otsutsuki." The screen fades to black as Naruto's new eyes glow in the darkness. Visuals, Naruto in his new white fox form standing on a cliff, looking at a distant, moon-like dimension. Beside him, Sasuke is opening a massive portal with his crimson Rinnegan. Host voiceover, "The evolution is complete. Naruto has reached the pinnacle of Jinchuriki power, becoming the white fox of the Sunday, but even with this divine strength, the threat of the divine tree is too great. To save the world, the heroes must do the unthinkable, form an alliance with the mother of all chakra." Question for Part 12, The Search for Kaguya. Naruto and Sasuke travel to the Forbidden Ice Dimension to unseal their greatest enemy. Can Kaguya be trusted, or will she try to reclaim the chakra of the Nine Tails for herself? If you love this video, then please like and subscribe. Part 12, The Search for Kaguya, An Unlikely Alliance. Act 1, Into the Frozen Void. The portal opened with a violent crack of purple lightning. Naruto, in his white fox perfect Jinchuriki form, stepped onto the jagged ice, followed by Sasuke and Boruto. The temperature was so low that normal humans would have frozen instantly, but Naruto's solar aura kept them warm. "It's been years," Sasuke muttered, his crimson Rinnegan scanning the horizon. "The chakra's signature is faint, but she's still here. Sealed within the core of this dimension." Naruto looked at the massive ice mountain ahead. "I can feel her, Sasuke. It's not the same rage I felt during the war. It's sadness. And fear. She's terrified of what's coming." Act 2, The Unsealing. They reached the center of the dimension, where a massive Chibaku Tensei sphere was suspended in mid-air. Naruto and Sasuke stood side by side, just as they had during the Fourth Great Ninja War. "We aren't here to kill you, Kaguya." Naruto's voice boomed, amplified by Kurama's divine resonance. "The world is being consumed by the very tree you planted. Your kin, Code, is rewriting the laws of life. We need your knowledge." Naruto and Sasuke clapped their hands together. Using the six paths, yin and yang energy now evolved through Naruto's solar mode and Sasuke's crimson Rinnegan. They touched the surface of the sphere. Crack. Shatter. The massive sphere exploded into a million shards of ice and rock. From the center, a figure with long, flowing white hair and three eyes slowly descended. Kaguya Otsutsuki was free. Act 3, The Goddess's Judgment. Kaguya landed softly, her Byakugan active, looking at the intruders. She saw Naruto's new form and flinched. "The fox has become a son," her voice echoed, not from her mouth, but directly into their minds. "And the Uchiha, his eye holds the blood of the earth. Why have you awakened me from my eternal penance?" Sasuke stepped forward. "Code has evolved the Ten-Tails. He has created Shinja clones that possess human consciousness. Konoha has fallen, and the divine tree is blooming. If you don't help us, there will be no world left for you to call your nursery." Kagaya's expression shifted from coldness to genuine horror. Shinju, with consciousness. That is the forbidden path. That is the end of all things. If the tree develops a will of its own, even the Otsutsuki god cannot stop it. Act 4, an unlikely alliance. Kagaya looked at Naruto for a long time. She saw the will of fire burning brighter than ever. She realized that these puny humans had achieved a level of evolution that her clan had spent eons trying to reach through theft. I will help you, Kagaya whispered. Not for your world, but to stop the abomination that Code has unleashed. But know this: to kill a conscious divine tree, you must strike its soul root. And for that, you need the forbidden seal of the Otsutsuki. Whatever it takes, Naruto said, his white gold tail swaying. Just tell us how to save our people. Act 5, the ambush in the ice. Suddenly, the ground shook. From the shadows of the ice pillars, 3 figures emerged. They were Shinju clones that had followed Naruto's portal. One looked like a twisted version of Neji Hyuga, another like Sasuke Uchiha, and the third was a massive, wooden beast. So, the traitor has found a new grandmother, the Neji clone mocked, his wooden veins pulsing. Code-sama knew you would come here. He wants the goddess's head to decorate the tree. The battle was instant. Naruto moved like a streak of white light, his fists glowing with solar energy. Sasuke's crimson Susanoo erupted, its red gravity blade slicing through the ice. Act 6, Kagaya's true power. Kagaya didn't run. She raised her hand, and the very dimensions around them began to shift. 80 God's vacuum attack. Massive chakra fists rained down from the sky, crushing the wooden beast instantly. But the attack clone was fast, using a wooden version of Amaterasu to counter Sasuke. Naruto realized that these clones were absorbing the natural energy of Kagaya's dimension to get stronger. Sasuke. We need to combine our powers. Kagaya, give us an opening. Kagaya opened a small rift behind the clones. Naruto and Sasuke launched a solar crimson Kagutsuki Raisen Shuriken. The explosion was so powerful it turned the ice dimension sky into a swirling vortex of fire and purple gravity. The clones were vaporized, but as they died, they laughed. The tree is already complete. Act 7, the revelation. Kagaya looked at the fading ashes of the clones. They were just scouts. Code is no longer the master. The tree has developed its own ego. It is using Code as a puppet. Naruto's heart sank. You mean Code isn't the final boss? No, Kagaya said, looking toward the portal back to Earth. The tree is trying to birth a new god. A physical manifestation of all the souls it has consumed. It is birthing Shive's vessel. Naruto clenched his fist, his golden eyes burning with a new intensity. Then we don't just have to save the village. We have to kill a god before it's born. Visuals, Naruto, Sasuke, and Kagaya standing together, looking through a portal at the massive white divine tree covering Konoha. The tree's core is pulsing with a terrifying, humanoid heart. Host voiceover, an alliance that was once impossible is now the world's only hope. Kagaya Otsutsuki has joined the resistance, but the news she brings is a nightmare. Code is just a pawn, and the divine tree is birthing a new, unstoppable deity. Question for Part 13, Code's awakening. Realizing he is being replaced by the tree, Code goes into a murderous rage. What happens when the white karma clashes with Naruto's golden fox? And can Kagaya's secret save Killer B? If you love this video then please like and subscribe. Part 13, Code's awakening, the white karma vs. the golden fox. Act 1, the descent of the hunter. The sky over the ruins of Konoha was no longer blue, it was a sickly, pulsing violet, reflecting the energy of the divine tree. Naruto, Sasuke, and Kagaya emerged from a portal directly above the village. The air, it's heavy, Naruto whispered, his white gold tail swaying in the wind. The tree is breathing, Sasuke. It's inhaling the chakra of the planet and exhaling the souls of our friends. Suddenly, a streak of red lightning slammed into the ground in front of them. The shock wave was so powerful it leveled 3 city blocks. From the smoke, Code stepped out. He looked different. His white karma had evolved, covering his entire body in jagged, crystalline armor. The goddess and the Hokage, Code spat, his voice distorted. The tree thinks it can replace me with a new vessel? I'll show that overgrown weed that I am the one who inherits the Otsutsuki will. And I'll start by ripping the fox out of your chest, Naruto. Act 2, White Karma vs Solar Prowess. Code didn't use claw marks to teleport, he moved so fast he simply appeared in front of Naruto. He delivered a punch that broke the sound barrier. Naruto caught it with one hand, his solar gold eyes burning. "You're fighting for nothing, Code," Naruto said, his voice echoing with divine resonance. Naruto countered with a solar-infused uppercut. The impact sent Code flying thousands of feet into the air. Naruto didn't wait, he flew after him, leaving a trail of white fire. In the upper atmosphere, the two engaged in a high-speed taijutsu battle. Every clash created a boom that could be heard across the land of fire. Code's claws were glowing with a dark, antimatter energy that tried to eat through Naruto's solar aura, but the white fox was too pure. Act 3, the Crimson Support. Below, the Shinja clones were rising to protect the tree. Sasuke activated his Crimson Susanoo, wielding a gravity bow. "Kaguya, use your portals to redirect their attacks. I'll take down the flyers." Kaguya nodded, her Byakugan scanning the battlefield. She opened dozens of tiny rifts, catching the Shinja clones' wooden spikes and sending them back at them. Sasuke fired arrows of black gravity that crushed the clones into tiny spheres of wood. "We have to get Naruto to the Soul Root," Sasuke shouted. "Code is just a distraction." Act 4, Code's final evolution. Back in the sky, Code was losing. His white karma was overheating. Why can't I kill you? I have the power of a god." "You have the power of a thief," Naruto replied, his tails forming a protective shield. "True power comes from the connections we make, not the chakra we steal." Enraged, Code did the unthinkable. He stabbed his own hand into a nearby branch of the divine tree, forcefully draining a massive amount of the Tentail's raw essence into his own body. His body began to mutate. His skin turned gray, and a third eye red Rinnegan opened on his forehead. He had become a partial Otsutsuki god. Code, divine overload. He unleashed a barrage of claw-grime spears that were each infused with enough power to destroy a small moon. Act 5, the Solar Fox Roar. Naruto saw the spears coming. He didn't dodge. He clapped his hands together, and the spectral image of the white and gold Kurama appeared behind him, 10 times larger than before. "Naruto, it's time to show him the true roar of the sun." Kurama's voice boomed. Naruto opened his mouth, and a tiny, black and gold sphere formed. It wasn't a tailed beast bomb, it was a solar singularity. Solar roar, celestial erasure. The beam of light was so bright it turned the night into day. It collided with Code's spears, vaporizing them instantly. The beam continued, hitting Code directly in the chest. Code's crystalline armor shattered. He fell from the sky like a meteor, crashing into the base of the divine tree. Act 6, the tree's betrayal. Code lay in the crater, coughing up black blood. His white karma was fading. He looked up at the divine tree, reaching out a hand. "Help me. I did this for you." But the tree didn't help. Instead, dozens of white roots erupted from the ground and pierced Code's body. They weren't healing him, they were absorbing him. "No. No." Code screamed as his body was dragged into the bark of the tree. "It's over," Naruto said, landing in the crater. The tree has consumed its own creator. Act 7, the birth of the Shinja King. The divine tree began to glow with a terrifying, rhythmic light. The chakra it had taken from Code, the tailed beasts, and the villagers was finally concentrating into a single point. From the center of the tree, a humanoid figure stepped out. It looked like Naruto, but with pale skin, long white hair, and the eyes of the Otsutsuki. It was the Shinja King, the consciousness of the tree made flesh. "Thank you, Naruto Uzumaki," the king spoke, his voice sounding like 1,000 people whispering at once. "Code was a flawed vessel. But you have provided the perfect DNA for my birth." Naruto stood his ground, his tails flickering. "I didn't give you anything. And I'm going to take everything back." Visuals, Naruto and the Shinja King standing face to face in the ruins of Konoha. Behind them, the divine tree is starting to turn a dark, ominous gold. Sasuke and Kaguya are seen looking on in horror. Host voiceover, the puppet master is gone, but the puppet has become a god. Code has been consumed, and the Shinja King has been born. This is no longer a war for a village, it is a war for the soul of the universe. Naruto has defeated Code, but can he defeat a reflection of himself? Question for Part 14, The Death of a Cage. As the Shinja King unleashes his full power, one of our heroes must make the ultimate sacrifice to save the others. Who will fall in the battle against the tree? If you love this video then please like and subscribe. Part 14, The Death of a Cage, a sacrifice that changes everything. Act 1, The God's First Breath. The Shinja King stood in the center of the crater, his white hair flowing like liquid silk. He looked at his hands, then at Naruto. Everything you feel, I feel, the king spoke, his voice a chilling harmony of thousands of trapped souls. The love for your children, the grief for your parents, it is all just data to me. And now, I shall format this world. With a single flick of his wrist, the king unleashed a wave of Shinja gravity. The entire land of fire began to tilt. Mountains crumbled, and the air itself became too thin to breathe. Even Naruto's solar mode was struggling against this absolute control of the environment. Sasuke. Kaguya. Get the survivors out of here. Naruto yelled, his white gold tails forming a protective dome. I can't hold this pressure for long. Act 2, The Impossible Wall. Sasuke tried to use his Crimson Rinnegan to teleport the remaining shinobi, but the space-time around the divine tree had been locked. It's no use, Naruto. He's anchored the entire dimension to his own heartbeat. We're trapped. Gaara, who had been partially recovered by Kaguya's medical ninjutsu, stood up weakly. His sand was gray and brittle, but his eyes were full of resolve. He is using the tailed beast's chakra as a shield. As long as they are inside him, we cannot touch his physical form. The Shinja King smiled. Correct, Kazekage. I am the sum of all your parts. To kill me, you must kill yourselves. Act 3, The Strategy of the Fallen. Kaguya looked at the tree, her Byakugan bleeding from the strain. There is one way, she whispered. The soul root is located at the very base of the tree, shielded by the Reaper's veil. Only someone with a connection to the Death Seal can bypass it. But once you enter, there is no coming back. Naruto looked at the tree. I'll do it. I have the Uzumaki blood. No, Naruto, a voice interrupted. It was Gaara. He stepped forward, his sand swirling around him in a protective sphere. The world needs its sun. It needs the Hokage to lead the new era. But the sand has always been a shield. It's time I fulfilled my ultimate purpose. Act 4, The Final Sandstorm. Gaara, don't you dare. Naruto screamed, trying to reach him, but the Shinja King launched a barrage of wooden dragons that pinned Naruto down. Gaara looked back at Naruto, a peaceful smile on his face, the same smile he had when Naruto first saved him years ago. You taught me what it means to be a friend, Naruto. You gave me a life worth living. Now, let me give you a world worth saving. Gaara unleashed his ultimate forbidden jutsu, Grand Desert, Soul Burial. He didn't attack the Shinja King. Instead, he turned his own body into a massive storm of golden sand, infused with his entire life force. The sand swirled around the divine tree, its abrasive grains eating through the Reaper's veil that Kaguya had mentioned. Act 5, The Opening. The Shinja King roared in pain as Gaara's sand began to physically grind away the tree's protective layer. Foolish human. You are throwing away your existence for nothing. Not for nothing, Gaara's voice echoed from the wind. For the future. The veil shattered. For a split second, the soul root was exposed, a pulsing, dark red core at the base of the tree. Naruto. Now. Sasuke yelled, using his Susanoo to clear a path through the wooden dragons. Naruto didn't hesitate. He gathered every scrap of solar energy into his fist. Solar impact, will of the shinobi. He slammed his fist into the soul root. The impact was so powerful it sent a shockwave across the entire planet. The divine tree shrieked, its white wood turning black and brittle. Act 6, The Death of a Legend. The sandstorm began to settle. The divine tree was still standing, but its glow was gone. The Shinja King was forced back into the bark, his physical form unstable. Naruto fell to his knees, gasping for air. He looked toward where Gaara had stood. There was no body. Only a small, broken gourd and a pile of golden sand that was slowly blowing away in the wind. Gaara. Naruto whispered, his voice breaking. The Kazekage was gone. He had sacrificed his soul to break the god's shield. Act 7, The Evolution of Grief. The silence was broken by the Shinja King's laughter. You killed the shield, but you haven't killed the king. The Kazekige's sacrifice only delayed the inevitable. Naruto stood up slowly. His solar mode was different now. It wasn't just gold, it was tinged with a deep, morning red, the color of the sand. The grief for his best friend was acting as a final catalyst for his evolution. "You're right," Naruto said, his voice terrifyingly calm. "He didn't kill you. He gave me the chance to do it. And I'm going to make sure every second of your death is a tribute to his life." Naruto's chakras skyrocketed to a level that even Kagaya had never seen. He was no longer just the Jinchuriki of the Nine Tails. He was the vengeance of the earth. Visuals: a close-up of Gaara's broken gourd in the sand. Naruto standing in front of the divine tree, his new morning sun aura burning so hot that the ground is turning to glass. Sasuke is shown crying silently. Host voiceover: a hero has fallen, and a legend is born from the ashes. Gaara of the desert is no more, but his sacrifice has given Naruto the opening he needs to end the Shinja King. The world has lost a Kage, but it has gained a god of retribution. Question for Part 15, Naruto's new transformation. As Naruto enters the evolved Sage of Six Paths form, can he destroy the tree without killing the souls trapped inside? And what is the final secret that Kagaya is still hiding? If you love this video, then please like and subscribe. Part 15, Naruto's new transformation, the Sage of Six Paths evolved. Act 1, the silence after the storm. The battlefield was eerily quiet. The Shinja King stood amidst the blackening roots of the divine tree, his pale face twisted in a mocking grin. A life for a few seconds of an opening? Humans are so inefficient. Naruto didn't answer. He was looking at the small pile of golden sand where Gaara had stood. His head was bowed, his long white gold hair shadowing his eyes. But the ground beneath him was liquefying. The air was vibrating so fast that the falling rain turned into steam before it could touch him. "Naruto," Sasuke whispered, stepping back. He could feel a pressure so immense that even his crimson Rinnegan was starting to bleed. His chakra, it's not expanding. It's collapsing inward. He's becoming a singularity. Act 2, the Solar Six Paths Awakening. Suddenly, Naruto looked up. His eyes were no longer gold. They were pure white with a black ring and a red cross, the Trinity Eye. A pillar of pure, crystalline white light shot from Naruto's body, piercing the violet clouds and reaching into outer space. 9 Truth Seeker orbs manifested behind him, but they weren't black. They were glowing like miniature stars, radiating a heat that felt like the birth of a galaxy. His cloak transformed into a regal, flowing robe of white solar fire, with the symbols of all 9-tailed beasts burning in red on the back. This was the evolved Sage of Six Paths, Solar Transcendence. Act 3, the Physics of a God. The Shinja King lunged, his speed surpassing the concepts of space and time. He swung a blade made of the divine tree's core, capable of slicing through dimensions. Naruto didn't move his arms. He simply spoke a single word: stillness. The Shinja King froze mid-air. It wasn't a paralysis jutsu, Naruto had literally commanded the natural energy around the king to stop vibrating. The king was suspended in a vacuum of his own making. Naruto walked forward, his feet not touching the ground. Every step he took created a ripple of golden light that healed the cracked earth beneath him. "You speak of data," Naruto said, his voice sounding like a cosmic harmony. "But you forgot the most important data point, the will to protect." Act 4, the Battle of Realities. The Shinja King broke free, roaring as his body mutated into a multi-armed titan. The two clashed in the sky. The shock waves were so powerful they were felt in the hidden cloud and the hidden mist villages. The king fired beams of antimatter chakra, but Naruto caught them with his bare hands and crushed them into harmless sparks. Naruto countered with a solar sage palm, hitting the king's chest. The strike didn't just hurt the king, it sent a pulse of life energy into the divine tree. Naruto wasn't trying to destroy the tree yet, he was trying to reconnect the souls trapped inside to their physical bodies. Act 5, Kagaya's Warning. Kagaya watched from the sidelines, her eyes wide with fear. "He is reaching the state of Shive, the Otsutsuki god," she whispered to Sasuke. "But a human body cannot hold this much divinity. If he stays in this form for more than 10 minutes, his soul will burn away and merge with the universe. He will become a star, but Naruto the man will be gone forever." Sasuke clenched his fist. "Naruto! Don't push it. Finish him now and shut it down." Act 6, the Final Mercy. Naruto heard Sasuke, But he saw something else. Inside the Shinja King's core, he could see the souls of the villagers, of Hinata, and even the remnant of Code. They were drowning in a sea of cold data. I won't let you be part of his machine anymore, Naruto whispered. He gathered all 9 of his Star Truth Seeker orbs into the center of his chest. They merged into a single, blinding bow of light. Naruto pulled back an invisible string. Sage Art, Eternal Sunlight, Soul Release. The arrow of light didn't pierce the king, it passed through him, expanding into a wave of pure, warm energy that covered the entire village. Act 7, The Cracking of the Tree. The divine tree shrieked as its white bark began to turn into cherry blossom petals. The cocoons holding the villagers started to glow and descend gently to the ground. The Shinja King began to dissolve, his pale skin flaking away like ash. Why would you save them? They hated you, they called you a traitor. Naruto looked at him, his white gold hair flowing in the wind. Because that's what a ninja does. We endure. As the king vanished, the massive divine tree collapsed into a giant pile of harmless flower petals. The fall of Konoha had been reversed, but the cost was visible. Naruto's white robe was fading, and his body was becoming translucent. He was starting to disappear. Visuals, Naruto standing in a field of cherry blossom petals, his body flickering like a dying candle. Sasuke is running toward him, his hand outstretched. In the distance, the villagers are starting to wake up, looking around in confusion. Host voiceover, the god has been defeated, and the souls have been freed. Naruto Uzumaki has reached the ultimate evolution, but the price is his very existence. As his soul begins to merge with the sun he created, the world realizes the truth. The traitor was their only savior. Question for Part 16, Boruto's transformation. As Naruto begins to fade, a new threat emerges from within Boruto. Momoshiki Otsutsuki sees this as his final chance to take over. Can the son save the father, or will Kurama's will be the only thing left? If you love this video then please like and subscribe. Part 16, Boruto's transformation, Momoshiki vs Kurama's will. Act 1, The Fading Light. The field of cherry blossom petals was beautiful, but the silence was terrifying. Naruto stood in the center, his body becoming more and more transparent. Sasuke reached out, his hand passing right through Naruto's shoulder. Naruto! Stop this! Release the technique! Sasuke screamed, his crimson Rinnegan spinning wildly. Naruto smiled, a soft, ethereal expression. It's okay, Sasuke. The tree is gone. Everyone is safe. My job is, it's done. Suddenly, a blood-curdling scream pierced the air. Boruto fell to his knees, his right arm erupting in dark, jagged karma markings that didn't stop at his shoulder, they were spreading to his neck and face. His right eye snapped open, revealing the cold, blue Byakugan of Momoshiki. Act 2, The Return of the Blue-Eyed Demon. Finally. A distorted, arrogant voice spoke from Boruto's mouth. It was Momoshiki. He looked at Naruto's fading form and laughed. The Fox-man is dying. The Uchiha is exhausted. This world is mine for the taking. I will use this boy's hands to finish what the tree started. Momoshiki, controlling Boruto's body, created a massive red Takumi Kusu, chakra fruit, in his palm, preparing to blast the unconscious villagers who were just starting to wake up. Stop it! Boruto's own voice choked out, his left eye still blue. I won't let you. Act 3, The Internal War. Inside Boruto's mindscape, a fractured, icy dimension, Boruto was being crushed by a giant, spectral version of Momoshiki. You are just a vessel, boy. Momoshiki roared, his dark chakras suffocating Boruto. Your destiny was written the moment you killed me. You are an Otsutsuki now. Just as Boruto was about to give up, a flash of solar gold light illuminated the darkness. A tiny, fierce white and gold fox, the divine Kurama, leaped between them. Not on my watch, you pale parasite. Kurama's voice echoed. Because Naruto and Boruto had shared chakra during their training, a fragment of Kurama's divine essence had anchored itself inside Boruto's karma. Act 4, Kurama's will versus Momoshiki's ego. The battle inside the mind was legendary. Kurama transformed into a massive, nine-tailed warrior made of pure sunlight, clashing with Momoshiki's dark phantom. I've spent decades inside an Uzumaki. Kurama roared, his tail slamming into Momoshiki's barrier. I know their spirit better than you ever will. Boruto isn't your container, he's my partner's legacy. Kurama shared his will of fire with Boruto. He showed him memories of Naruto's loneliest days, his struggles, and his refusal to ever give up. Boruto. Take the light. Rewrite your own karma. Act 5, The Solar Karma Evolution. In the physical world, Boruto's body began to glow. The dark purple karma markings started to turn solar white. His right eye didn't change back to blue, instead, it became a pure gold Chaugan. Get out of my head. Boruto roared. A massive shockwave of white energy erupted from Boruto, physically pushing Momoshiki's consciousness back into the deepest depths of the seal. Boruto regained control, but he was different. He was now a perfect hybrid possessing the power of an Otsutsuki but the heart and chakra of the Nine Tails. Act 6, The Son Saves the Father. Boruto looked at Naruto, who was now just a faint outline of light. Dad. Don't you dare leave. I'm not ready to be the hero yet. Boruto rushed to Naruto and grabbed his hand. Using his new solar karma, he did the reverse of what the tree did. Instead of taking life, he began to feed his own massive Otsutsuki-level life force back into Naruto's soul anchor. Kurama. Help me. Boruto yelled. The fragment of Kurama inside Boruto and the Kurama inside Naruto resonated. They acted as a bridge, pulling Naruto back from the edge of the universe and anchoring him back into his physical body. Act 7, The Sun Returns. Slowly, Naruto's body became solid again. The translucent glow faded, and he fell forward, gasping for breath. He was no longer a god, but he was alive. His solar gold eyes returned to their normal blue, but they were full of pride. You did it, Boruto. Naruto whispered, clutching his son's shoulder. You've mastered the demon. Sasuke landed beside them, letting out a breath he had been holding for years. The threat of Momoshiki, it's finally contained. But look. Sasuke pointed to the sky. The moon was glowing with a strange, emerald light. The defeat of the Shinja King had sent a signal into the deepest reaches of space. Visuals, Naruto and Boruto sitting together in the field of petals, both exhausted but smiling. Sasuke looking at the emerald moon. In the distance, we see the silhouettes of 3 new Otsutsuki figures descending toward Earth. Host voiceover, the internal war is won, and the father is saved by the son. Boruto has evolved into a new kind of warrior, one who can control the darkness of the Otsutsuki with the light of the fox. But peace is a fleeting dream. The death of a divine tree is a beacon that cannot be ignored. Question for Part 17, The Legend of the Uzumaki. As new enemies approach, Naruto realizes that to truly protect the world, he must reclaim the Reaper Death Seal, the ultimate forbidden jutsu of his clan. Can he survive the price of the Reaper? If you love this video then please like and subscribe. Part 17, The Legend of the Uzumaki, Reclaiming the Reaper Death Seal. Act 1, The Call of the Blood. Naruto sat in his office, but he wasn't looking at paperwork. He was staring at an old, dusty scroll that had emerged from the rubbles of the divine tree's core. It bore the seal of the Whirlpool Village. My clan didn't just disappear because of war, Sasuke, Naruto said, his voice heavy. They were wiped out because they possessed the power to seal away the gods themselves. The Otsutsuki fear our seals more than our Raise-Nons. Sasuke leaned against the door, his crimson Rinnegan active. The Reaper Death Seal, your father used it to seal Kurama. It costs the user's soul. You've already sacrificed enough, Naruto. I'm not going to use it the old way, Naruto replied, his eyes turning a sharp solar gold. I'm going to master it. I'm going to make the Reaper my ally. Act 2, The Voyage to the Ghost Island. Naruto, Boruto, and Sasuke traveled to the remains of Uzumaki. The island was surrounded by eternal, violent whirlpools that would swallow any ship. But Naruto used his solar tails to part the waters, creating a golden path to the ruins. The village was a graveyard of red brick and white stone. The air was thick with the lingering chakra of thousands of sealing masters. I can hear them. Boruto whispered, his Chaugan flickering. The walls, they're screaming. There are thousands of souls trapped in the architecture itself. Suddenly, the ground shook. From the ruins of the main temple, spectral figures in white robes emerged, the ghost guardians of the Uzumaki. Act 3, The Trial of the Ancestors. The spirits didn't attack with kunai, they attacked with adamantine sealing chains. Hundreds of golden chains erupted from the ground, trying to bind Naruto's soul. I am Naruto Uzumaki. Son of Kusina. Grandson of the whirlpool. Naruto roared, not fighting back, but releasing his own chakra. I am not here to steal. I am here to carry the burden of our name. The leader of the spirits, an old man with hair that reached the floor, stopped. He looked into Naruto's solar gold eyes and saw the nine tails sitting peacefully within him. The Jinchuriki who tamed the hatred. The spirit whispered. You seek the Reaper. But to control the Shiki Fujin, you must face the Reaper without fear. If you blink, your soul is his forever. Act 4, Summoning the Death God. They entered the masked temple of the deep, a place where the sun never reached. In the center was an altar with 27 different masks. Naruto picked the one in the center, the Reaper's mask. As he put it on, the temperature in the room dropped to absolute zero. A massive, terrifying figure manifested behind him. It was the Shiki Fujin, Reaper, a demonic entity with a knife in its mouth and long, white hair. Naruto, don't! Boruto screamed as he saw the Reaper's spectral hand reach through Naruto's chest. But Naruto didn't flinch. He used his Solar Six Paths chakra to grab the Reaper's hand. You've taken enough Uzumaki souls. Today, you take my command. Act 5, The Forbidden Bargain. A psychological battle began. The Reaper showed Naruto visions of his own death, the death of Hinata, and the destruction of the world. He tried to eat Naruto's solar spark. But inside the mindscape, Kurama let out a divine roar. He is the sun. You cannot consume the light that gives life to the universe. Naruto combined his sage energy with the Reaper's death energy. The result was a new kind of chakra, negative neutral energy. The Reaper's knife turned into a golden blade of sealing. Naruto didn't lose his soul. Instead, he branded the Reaper's seal onto his own palm. He had achieved the Reaper solar synthesis. He could now seal any Otsutsuki soul without dying, but at the cost of a portion of his physical life force every time he used it. Act 6, The Arrival of the Emerald Moon. Suddenly, the sky above the island turned a sickly emerald green. The emerald moon cracked open like an egg. From the crack, 3 massive white pillars descended toward the earth. They're here, Sasuke said, drawing his sword. The scouts of the High Otsutsuki Council. The pillars landed in the ocean, creating tsunamis. 3 beings stepped out, Urashiki superiors. They didn't look like warriors, they looked like priests of a dark religion. The tree was a failure, one of them spoke, his voice vibrating through the entire planet. This world is corrupted by the fox. We shall erase it and start again. Act 7, The New Seal's First Test. One of the Otsutsuki priests pointed a finger at the island, launching a beam of particle erasure energy. Naruto stepped forward, his palm glowing with the new Reaper mark. He didn't use a raise-non. He simply held up his hand. Uzumaki style, Reaper's Gate. A massive, spectral version of the Reaper appeared and literally ate the Otsutsuki's attack. The Reaper then lunged forward, his golden knife slicing through the priest's protective barrier. Impossible, the Otsutsuki gasped. A human, controlling the god of death. I'm not just a human, Naruto said, his white gold hair flowing in the dark wind. I'm the one who's going to seal you into eternity. Visuals, Naruto standing on the ruins of the Whirlpool village, the Reaper looming behind him like a dark shadow. The 3 Otsutsuki priests are floating in the air, looking down in shock. Boruto's Jougan is glowing intensely, reflecting the emerald moon. Host voiceover, the legends were true. The Uzumaki were never meant to be warriors, they were meant to be the wardens of the gods. Naruto has reclaimed the Reaper Death Seal, but the cost of this new power is a slow decay of his own body. With the High Otsutsuki Council launching their invasion, the final war for Earth has begun. Question for Part 18, Sasuke's new eye. As the battle against the Otsutsuki priests intensifies, Sasuke realizes his Crimson Rinnegan has a final, hidden stage. What is the path to the ultimate dojutsu? If you love this video then please like and subscribe. Part 18, Sasuke's new eye, the path to the ultimate dojutsu. Act 1, The Pressure of the Priests. The 3 Otsutsuki priests Kinchiki's elders descended upon the ruins of the Whirlpool village. Their presence was so heavy that the very sea around the island stopped moving. The fox has tamed the Reaper, one of the priests, a tall being with long, flowing robes called Gara Otsutsuki, spoke. But the Uchiha, he is a flaw in the system? His eye is an imitation of our divinity. It must be erased. Gara raised his hand, and a wave of negative gravity slammed into Sasuke. Sasuke's Crimson Susanoo manifested instantly, but the red armor began to crack under the pressure. Sasuke! Naruto yelled, his Reaper Solar aura flickering. He tried to move, but the other two priests launched a barrage of black rods that pinned his shadow to the ground. Act 2, The Void of the Uchiha. Sasuke was being crushed. His lungs were burning, and his crimson Rinnegan was bleeding. In that moment of absolute despair, he heard a voice not of a god, but of his brother. Sasuke, you are always looking at the surface, the voice of Itachi whispered in his mind. The Rinnegan is not a tool of power, it is a bridge to the origin. Stop fighting the pressure. Let it consume you. Sasuke closed his eyes. Instead of resisting the Otsutsuki's gravity, he let his own chakra flow collapse into his left eye. He stopped breathing. He stopped feeling. He entered the void of the Uchiha. Act 3, The Awakening of the Akashic Rinnegan. Suddenly, the pressure around Sasuke vanished. The Otsutsuki priest, Gaara, looked confused. What? My gravity, it's being eaten. Sasuke opened his eyes. His left eye was no longer just red. It had turned pure obsidian black with a glowing white lotus pattern in the center. This was the Akashic Rinnegan, the eye that could access the records of the universe. Impossible. Gaara gasped. That eye, it only exists in the legends of the Otsutsuki king. How can a half-blood human reach the origin? Act 4, Rewriting the Battle. Sasuke didn't use a sword. He simply looked at the black rods pinning Naruto. Erasure. In a blink, the rods didn't just break, they simply ceased to exist. It wasn't speed, it was a literal rewrite of the physical area. Sasuke then looked at Gaara. The priest tried to fire a beam of energy, but Sasuke spoke another word, reversal. The beam of energy turned around mid-air and hit the priest with double the power. Gaara was sent flying back into the emerald pillars. I can see the threads, Sasuke said, his voice sounding cold and distant. I can see the moment you were born, and I can see the moment you will die. In this space, I am the author of your end. Act 5, The Cost of Ultimate Vision. But the power was too much. Sasuke's body began to turn into black smoke. The Akashic Rinnegan was trying to pull his physical form into the record itself. Sasuke, stop! Naruto screamed, finally breaking free. He used his Solar Reaper hand to grab Sasuke's shoulder, trying to anchor him to reality. If you keep using that eye, you'll become a ghost. You'll be everywhere and nowhere at the same time. It's the only way, Naruto, Sasuke whispered, his obsidian eye bleeding white fluid. They're not just scouts. There's an entire fleet behind that moon. If I don't rewrite the barrier of this world, we're all dead. Act 6, The Barrier of the Moon. Sasuke looked up at the emerald moon. He channeled the entire power of his new dojutsu into a single strike. Amaterasu, Eternal Shield. Instead of black flames, a massive, translucent black and white barrier covered the entire earth. It wasn't a physical wall, it was a conceptual barrier. Any Otsutsuki trying to cross it would find themselves back in deep space, stuck in a loop of time. The emerald moon cracked, and the remaining two priests were forcefully pulled back into the rift. Act 7, The Shadow of the Origin. The battle was over, but Sasuke fell to his knees, his obsidian eye closing. When he opened it again, it was back to the crimson Rinnegan, but it was dull and blind. I lost the vision, Sasuke wheezed. But the barrier is set. For now, the world is safe from the fleet. Naruto looked at his friend, his heart breaking. You shouldn't have done that, Sasuke. You almost lost yourself. I am the Shadow Hokage, Naruto, Sasuke smiled weakly. My job is to handle the darkness so you can be the Sunday. But as they looked at the sky, a final message from the Otsutsuki priests echoed, you have delayed the inevitable. The king has noticed the flicker of the sun and the shadow. He is coming himself. He is coming for the divine vessel. Visuals, Sasuke leaning on Naruto as they walk through the ruins. Boruto is looking at the black and white barrier in the sky with his Jougan. In the deepest reaches of space, a massive throne made of white wood is seen moving toward Earth. Host voiceover, the Uchiha has reached the origin, and the world has a temporary shield. Sasuke's sacrifice has blinded his greatest weapon, but it has bought the Earth time to prepare. But the High Otsutsuki Council is no longer the threat. The king himself, Shiva's true heir, has set his sights on the blue planet. Question for Part 19, The Invasion of the Otsutsuki Clan. As the final war begins, Naruto and Sasuke must lead the united shinobi front. Can the old generation and the new generation combine their powers to stop a god? If you love this video, then please like and subscribe. Part 19, The Invasion of the Otsutsuki Clan, The War for Earth. Act 1, The Gathering of the Five Kage. The Five Kage, including the newly restored Gaara, Darui, Kojuro, and Kurotsuka, stood atop a massive stone platform. Naruto stood in the center, his Solar Reaper cloak flowing in the freezing wind. "They're not just here for the chakra," Naruto said, his solar gold eyes scanning the fleet. "They're here to erase our existence. They see our will of fire as a virus that needs to be purged." "Then let them try," Darui grunted, his black lightning crackling. "The cloud doesn't bow to anyone, even gods." "We fight as one," Gaara added, his sands swirling in a massive defensive wall around the coast. "Naruto, you lead the front line. We will provide the shield." Act 2, The White Rain. The Otsutsuki ships didn't fire cannons. They released thousands of white puppets, mechanical organic beings that each possessed a fraction of a Byakugan. They rained down from the sky like a blizzard. "Shinobi Alliance, artillery formation." Shikamaru's voice echoed through the communication headsets. Thousands of shinobi launched a synchronized attack. Wind style, Great Breakthrough. Fire style, Great Fireball. Lightning style, Electromagnetic Murder. The sky exploded into a kaleidoscope of elements. Naruto took to the air, his 9 white gold tails slicing through the puppets like hot knives through butter. Beside him, Boruto used his solar white karma to absorb the incoming energy blasts and redirect them at the ships. Act 3, The Elite Guard of the King. Just as the shinobi seemed to be gaining ground, the sky turned a dark, obsidian purple. 4 massive pillars of light hit the ground. From the smoke emerged the 4 heavenly kings of the Otsutsuki, the personal guard of the king himself. They were giants, each wearing armor made of god tree bark. Insects, the leader, Ryu Otsutsuki, spoke. He swung a massive hammer made of condensed gravity. The impact created a shockwave that wiped out an entire division of stone shinobi instantly. "Sasuke! Now!" Naruto yelled. Act 4, The Blind Swordsman's Strike. Even with his vision fading, Sasuke Uchiha stepped forward. He didn't need eyes to see the chakra of the enemy. He used his Akashic resonance to sense the threads of the universe. He drew his sword and entered the Crimson Susanoo. "Naruto, I'll take the heavy hitter. You and Boruto focus on the ships." Sasuke engaged Ryu in a battle that defied physics. Every time Ryu swung his gravity hammer, Sasuke would use a Menotijikara to swap places with a snowflake, appearing behind the giant for a lethal strike. "You think a mortal can kill a king?" Ryu roared. "I'm not a mortal," Sasuke's voice was like ice. "I'm an Uchiha." Act 5, The Solar Reaper Combination. Naruto saw that the main ship was preparing a planetary eraser beam. He knew he had to stop it. "Kurama. We're going all in. I'm with you, kid. Let's show them the true heat of the sun." Naruto combined his solar mode with the Reaper's mark. He manifested a giant, spectral Reaper that was engulfed in white-hot solar flames. The Reaper didn't carry a knife, it carried a solar raisin shuriken the size of a city. Naruto flew directly into the path of the ship's beam. Reaper Solar Art, Celestial Seal. He slammed the massive raisin shuriken into the ship's core. The resulting explosion didn't just destroy the ship, it sealed the chakra of every puppet connected to it. Thousands of Otsutsuki soldiers fell from the sky like dead leaves. Act 6, The Arrival of the True Heir. The battlefield went silent as the flagship was destroyed. But the joy was short-lived. The remaining 3 heavenly kings didn't look afraid, they knelt. The air itself began to crack. From a rift in the center of the fleet, a small, elegant figure stepped out. He looked like a child, but his eyes were ancient pure gold jougans in both sockets. This was Shive's true heir, Ishiki's brother, Momoshiki's master. "You have entertained me enough," the boy spoke, his voice sounding like 1,000 bells. "I am Kagaya's true fear. I am the one who planted the first seed on this planet. I am Zenith Otsutsuki." Zenith simply snapped his fingers. Act 7, The Despair of the Shinobi. With that single snap, every shinobi on the battlefield including the cage fell to their knees, blood pouring from their eyes and ears. Their chakra was being forcefully pulled out of their bodies toward Zenith. Only Naruto, Sasuke, and Boruto remain standing, protected by their divine connections. You three are interesting, Zenith smiled, looking at Naruto. The fox, the shadow, and the vessel. You are the only ones worthy of being the soil for my new garden. He raised his hand, and the divine tree in the ruins of Konoha began to grow once again, its roots reaching all the way to the battlefield in seconds. Visuals, Naruto, Sasuke, and Boruto standing alone in a wasteland of unconscious shinobi. Zenith Otsutsuki is floating above them, a small sun of stolen chakra forming in his hand. The divine tree's roots are seen snaking around the legs of the fallen heroes. Host voiceover, the war has turned into a massacre. The united shinobi front has been neutralized with a single snap, and the true heir of Shive has finally revealed himself. Naruto and his family are the last line of defense for a world that has already lost its breath. Question for Part 20, Shive Otsutsuki. As Zenith prepares the final harvest, Naruto discovers a way to speak to the god of the universe himself. Can the first god be convinced to stop his own heir? If you love this video then please like and subscribe. Part 20, Shive Otsutsuki, Meeting the God of the Universe. Act 1, The Throne of Infinity. The battlefield on Earth was frozen in time. Naruto's physical body stood still, his eyes blank. But his soul was traveling through a tunnel of infinite colors. He emerged in a place that looked like a library made of galaxies. In the center, sitting on a throne of white light, was a being with thousands of jougans covering his body. He had no face, only a radiating presence of pure knowledge. Shive Otsutsuki. You are early, little fox, a voice spoke, sounding like the vibration of the entire universe. No soul has reached this plane in 10 billion years. Why have you come to the end of time? Act 2, The Plea of the Mortal. Naruto stood before the god, his solar reaper aura looking like a tiny spark against the sun. Your son, Zenith, he's destroying my world. He's turning the will of fire into a graveyard. You left this universe to find peace, but your legacy is bringing war. Shive didn't move. Zenith is but a reflection of my own hunger. I consumed worlds to reach this state. Why should I stop him from following the path I carved? Because you're a god. Naruto roared. And a god without a creation is just a lonely ghost. Look at my people. Look at their struggle. We aren't just data or fruit. We are alive. Act 3, The Trial of Memory. Shive waved his hand. Suddenly, Naruto was forced to relive every painful moment of his life, the loneliness of his childhood, the betrayal of Sasuke, the death of Jiraiya, and the loss of Gaara. Your world is built on suffering, Naruto Uzumaki. Why do you wish to save a cycle of pain? Naruto fell to his knees, tears streaming down his face. But then, he saw the other side. He saw Iruka-sensei's smile, the first time Kurama called him a friend, the birth of Boruto and Himawari. It's because of the pain that the joy matters. Naruto stood up, his solar gold eyes burning with a light that actually made Shive's jougans blink. The will of fire isn't about being perfect. It's about never giving up on each other. Act 4, The Gift of the First God. Shive remained silent for an eternity. For the first time, the god of the universe felt a ripple of curiosity. He saw the fragment of the Reaper and the divine Kurama inside Naruto, two opposing forces living in harmony. You have achieved a balance that even I could not, Shive whispered. Zenith seeks to become me, but he lacks your anchor. I will not stop him, for a god does not interfere with the physical. But I will give you the key. Shive touched Naruto's forehead. A new symbol appeared, a white spiral with a black sun. This is the Shinjutsu, Genesis. It is the power to rewrite the present, not just the past. Use it well, little fox. For if you fail, I will consume your soul myself. Act 5, The Return to the Hellscape. Naruto's soul slammed back into his body. He gasped for air, his eyes snapping open. On the battlefield, Zenith was about to crush Sasuke and Boruto with a massive universal compression sphere. Die with your world, failures. Naruto moved. He didn't run, he teleported through the conceptual space. He appeared in front of Zenith and caught the compression sphere with his bare hand. See crack? The sphere shattered like glass. Zenith's eyes widened. What? My Shinjutsu, it was erased? Who gave you this power? Act 6, The Genesis Mode. Naruto's entire body was now glowing with a soft, iridescent white light. He wasn't aggressive, he looked peaceful. His tails were gone, replaced by a circular halo of truth-seeker stars. Your father sends his regards, Naruto said, his voice calm. Naruto touched the ground. Shinjutsu, Genesis, World Restoration. A wave of white light spread across the earth. The roots of the divine tree didn't just break, they turned into flower petals. The unconscious shinobi began to wake up, their chakra restored by the touch of the Genesis light. Act 7, the final duel begins. Zenith let out a scream of pure rage. His elegant form mutated into a monstrous, multi-winged deity. I am the heir. I am the true god. I will not be denied by a human. Zenith launched a barrage of god-slaying arrows, each one capable of erasing a timeline. Naruto looked at Sasuke and Boruto, who were now standing by his side, their powers resonating with his new Genesis energy. Let's finish this, Naruto said. For Gaara. For the leaf. For everyone. The three of them launched themselves at Zenith, their combined auras creating a golden white sun that blinded the entire planet. Visuals, Naruto, Sasuke, and Boruto flying toward Zenith in a triangle formation. Behind them, the spirits of the past Hokages and the tailed beasts are shown as a massive, glowing army. The earth is glowing with a divine white light. Host voiceover, the meeting with the god has changed everything. Naruto Uzumaki has returned with the power of Genesis, the ultimate shinjutsu of Shibe. The final battle for the universe has reached its peak. The heir of the Otsutsuki versus the protector of the earth. Question for Part 21, The Multiverse Rift. As the clash of powers shatters the boundaries of reality, Naruto and Zenith are thrown into a different timeline. What happens when Naruto meets his younger self in the middle of the Great War? Comment Shibe to unlock Part 21. Like, subscribe, and keep your will of fire burning. If you love this video then please like and subscribe.